Hello everyone, Christopher here, and welcome back to the Boldly Grow Homestead. I just finished harvesting my sunflower seeds a few minutes ago. That we have very chaotic video coming up soon. Thanks in part to Mischief here. Um, but that made me think that it's about time that I do another taste test with my edible flowers that I have in the garden. I should have done this earlier in the season when things were blooming better and I had the daylilies on the side fence, which are edible, and when I had more squash flowers to try or whatever. But I don't, so I'm just gonna choose the ones I have right now and give it a go. Homesteading, the original frontier. These are the adventures of the Boldly Grow Homestead. Its continuing mission to coexist with the environment, to find new plant varieties and new inspirations, to boldly grow like no one has grown before. Alright, so we're here in the main garden. That's the sunflower seeds. But the first flower that I'll be trying will be the Bachelor Button. I used to have a whole line of them. You may remember from earlier videos or photos. Most of them are spent at this point, so I'll probably be sampling from there. Those seem to be in the best shape. I guess we'll make this sort of an impromptu main garden tour as well. Frost is not that far off, so a lot of the things are starting to die back. This is my first round of bush beans, which I'm surprised lasted this long. Let's see, jalapeno pepper still flowering. I'm gonna keep letting it to do its thing. That squash is probably just gonna come out. I put it in for the fall garden and it's getting attacked by deer, powdery mildew, and just not at all happy. Zinnia is finally looking beautiful. Took forever for these guys to pop up. Sweetie cherry tomato. Get a couple of those every day now. So I learned recently that okra flowers are in fact edible. That one is unfortunately too far gone, so won't be trying that today. Maybe next year, unless we have another one pop up before the end of the season. The Tabasco pepper plant. If you haven't watched that video yet, I was silly enough to taste test one of them, and it went about as well as you would have expected. Yeah, a deer took out this tomato plant last night. It just started blooming, so it wasn't really going to do anything anyways. Some radishes, I believe. Let's see. It looks like the deer did a little bit of work on this tomato plant too. I have this labeled as an Amish paste, so we'll see what happens. It started blooming real late as well, so I don't know if there'll be enough time for those to ripen. I had to toss one off yesterday because it had some blight on it. Here's another tomato plant that's just starting to bloom, so I don't really expect much from these guys either, but well, I'm just gonna let them do their thing. Some kale that I planted at the beginning of the season is finally starting to take off. Got nasturtiums here, which do produce an edible leaf and edible flower. This one has some really gorgeous leaves on it, so I'll probably sample the leaves from here for you, but doesn't have any blooms on it. So we have to come over to this side for the edible nasturtium blooms. Now, I will admit I have taste tested nasturtium leaves and flowers before, but I'll do it again on camera, so refresh my memory on the flavor. Let's see. Another cherry tomato plant, producing a little bit. It had more earlier. The deer came and took off some of the top. The Calendula, which I hear is edible. I know people usually use it in product salves and things like that. So I'm not sure if I'll try that one on screen. And then we got Borage, which looks like one or two blooms that might be tryable. So those are the edible flowers. Here's another row of beans. So we got a ripening strawberry in the back there. Probably can't see it, but we have a nice eggplant on that one. Anything else? Probably our last patty pan of the season. It's been this size for a while. It hasn't really grown, but as you can see, the plant's in no shape. So one of these mornings or evenings, whenever I want to make a little stir fry or just saute some squash. I'll take this off and toss out the plant. The marigold is finally starting to bloom for the first time all year. And yeah, here's another okra plant with another flower that's a little too far gone. So I'm gonna pick some of my blooms and then we'll get going. Alright, so here's our selection. We got some Borage flowers and a leaf. Apparently the young leaves are edible and tasty as well. Got a Calendula flower. The petals are supposed to be edible. Bachelor Button. And then we got Nasturtium leaf and Nasturtium flower from two different varieties. So let's give it a go. And water to cleanse the palate. Alrighty, so I think I'm going to start with the nasturtiums because I am familiar with those. Say hi, Mischief. She wants to join too. Alright. So, the nasturtium leaf. These are supposed to be good in wraps and in salads. Oh, yep, there it is. No, it's got your typical like spinachy texture, but with a nice peppery kick to it. So definitely a nice way to spice up a salad or a wrap or something. Interestingly enough, the leaf, whatever, I had off the smaller nasturtium plant a while back was much more flavorful, had a lot more kick to it. This was, if you're not a huge into spice, maybe the big ones are actually a bit better for you. The flower. The flower is super sweet. As you get to the base of it, you pick a little of that peppery heat, but for the most part it's a very sweet and tasty flower. If I had more of them, I'd probably pick them more regularly. Alright, so next, let's go with the Bachelor Button. It's been my most trusted flower this year. So, I think you just eat the petals, not the base or anything. I probably look ridiculous. I don't get much flavor from that. Sort of just kind of there. So definitely a way to brighten up a salad or something, but I don't think it would add too much in the way of flavor. What do you think, Miss Jeff? No, you don't care. She doesn't care. Still got that little heat from the nasturtium leaf back there. Alright, let's go with a borage leaf. Very fuzzy. No kidding. Now, I had heard and read that borage leaves and flowers have a cucumbery taste, and that definitely does. Texture's obviously a little weirder, but it does taste much like a cucumber. Let's try one of the flowers. Yeah, it was a little bit more noticeable in the borage leaf as opposed to the flower, but it was good. Way to have cucumbers without having cucumbers, I suppose. Now for the last one, I pulled off some of the petals from the calendula. I've read that they're, you can eat them raw or prepared or whatever. Some people freeze them in ice cubes and put them in drinks for a nice pretty presentation in the warm summer. So let's give it a go. So, a little bit of heat at the end, milder than the nasturtium, but it's there. Other than that, not much in the way of flavor. Texture isn't too bad. So much like the Bachelor Button, I would say it's a nice way to pretty up a salad without adding too much flavor. Got a weird little crunch texture to it that might have been towards the base there. But, yeah. So that's the edible flowers I have in the garden at the moment. I'd like to try the okra flower at some point and get other types of edible plants in here too. Edible flowers. Well, it's actually been a few days since I filmed the first part of this video, and now there's an okra flower. So hold on one moment. Didn't want to come off. Had to take a whatever. So here we go. That's pretty good. A little sweet, nice texture, crunchy. That's really good actually. There you go, okra flowers. And look, I actually have a couple. Wow. Anyways, thanks for sticking with me for this video. What type of edible flowers do you have in your garden? Do you use them regularly, or are they more just sort of a novelty thing? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoy this video, share, like, subscribe, and don't forget to boldly grow. Good morning, everyone.